Hello, everyone, and welcome to one more WikiTree Challenge Reveal. This is number 15 of 2024 and the final one of the year. And I'm very excited to be here and to be hosting with Angie Breidenbach, who is our special guest. So welcome, Angie.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. It's our pleasure. I'm so glad to be here with you and share all the great work that our WikiTreeers have done for your family tree, and hope that you enjoy that along with your own family who are hopefully watching now or afterwards. And also joining me is Celia Marsh, who was one of our WikiTreeers. Valiant WikiTreeer works very hard on all of the challenges, and she was doing some work for Angie, and she's gladly here to help steer me, because unfortunately I wasn't able to do any work on your challenge this time, so I apologize for that, Angie. But I can tell you there was lots of great work that was done, and I'm happy to share what we have. So, and hello to everyone who's there in the chat watching this live, and also hello to those who are watching it afterwards on demand. So welcome to everyone. So now, if you've just joined us and you're wondering what is going on, this is a WikiTree Challenge Reveal. And so the WikiTree Challenge is one of our biggest online community events. And I'm just going to go over the script here so I don't misspeak. Every month, a team of WikiTree volunteers grows the connections for a special guest and fills in little missing gaps in their family tree. So our special guest for this month was Angie Breidenbach. And Angie is the executive director for the International Institute of Genealogical Studies, which is found at genealogicalstudies.com, where she helps people become professional genealogists and gain their dream career. She was awarded Outstanding Broadcasting from the NSDAR for a documentary on the Daughters of the American Revolution, which was produced for the Bitterroot chapter in Montana. And as a best-selling author of historical fiction, her stories capture true history while she uses her skills as a professional genealogist to weave in the people, place, and time to bring the past to life. Whether in writing or teaching, Angie is a passionate storytelling educator, preserving the past for future generations. You can find her latest 6-book series, Queen of the Rockies, at angelabreidenbach.com. And you've got your tag, your handle there, right, Angie? And so what are all the social medias that this will work for?
That will work for? Oh my goodness. It'll work for Facebook and Instagram and X, and it'll work for Pinterest, and I think there's a few others out there.
So are you on Blue Sky yet?
No, I haven't joined that one yet. I honestly got overwhelmed with the amount of things available, and I work probably about 80 hours a week, so I don't have a lot of time for much more. If I get a blog post done, it's pretty miraculous.
Right. You must, hopefully you have one of those tools where you do the post once and it gets automatically populated to all your socials, right?
Yeah, we try that. You have to be careful though. I don't know if you know this. You have to make sure that you're going from Facebook outward toward others, because Facebook won't let it be seen if you go from others into Facebook. So there's certain things you have to do. Social media is one thing that I know a lot about, but it changes so much that with the amount of time I've been working, I'm afraid I'm getting behind. I've got to get caught up on my social media skills.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've just admitted I do a lot of tech things, but social media is just one thing that I've just failed at. So
I had to get really good at a few really good areas where a lot of our students are versus trying to learn everything all the time. I think it's better to focus on maybe 2 or 3 than trying to do, 10 or 15.
Right. Yeah. Sounds good. So that's great. Now, tonight we're going to be talking about, I mentioned already that the WikiTree Challenge is, we started with Angie's tree, and she had already entered some of her ancestors in that. And then we're building out, and the framework that we use is we call the CC7. So if this is your first time, what the CC7 refers to is that the CC are connections, the close, the connection count. So a CC7 is a person's number of connection within 7 degrees. That's where the 7 comes, 7 degrees. So a connection.
6 degrees of bacon.
It's sort of like the 6 degrees of bacon. That's right.
You're the first one, and then everyone out from you is the.
That's right. Yeah. So at the first degree are all your immediate family. So your parents, your spouse, your children, and then the next degree is their parents, spouses. I was going to say spouses.
Mouse, mice, spouse.
Mice, spice. Yeah, it makes sense, right?
Totally.
And then, yeah. So your parents would be 3 degrees away. Your spouse's parents' children would also be 3 degrees away. So going 7 degrees, you can see it goes up. It can go sideways. It can go down. It can go all around, sort of thing.
It's great for researching when we're working with a mixed group of people, because you can pretty much pick the time frame that you're good at and find people, whereas when we just went straight back, pretty soon you get into parts of where it's harder and harder to research. But in this case, you just start going sideways, and you can go sideways for quite some time.
That's great. Oh yeah, how many times we go to husband, wife, wife's brother, brother's wife. So
it's also great because it's part of the fan research thing, where sometimes when you hit a sticking point, you start working out from them and looking for all their relatives, and suddenly you break a brick wall.
I love that. And I love how connected it makes the world. One of the reasons I do genealogy and teach genealogy is I believe that it connects everyone together, and it helps us to understand relationally that we are all related. We are all part of the same family. And to me, that is the best way to help people begin to understand one another. So that to me is a big deal.
That is great. And you know what? That is a perfect segue, Angie, into...
I did that on purpose.
You did that on purpose. It's just amazing. Let me just show you. I'm going to share my screen and show you this little chart that Azure unfortunately isn't able to be here tonight. She would have loved to be, but she wasn't. So you're stuck with me as the host. And let me put you up front so that people see you more than me. There we go. So this little chart here, this is okay, so this is the list of all of our WikiTree Challenge guest stars for this year, starting with Melly Alexander and ending with you, Angie. We have, when we first created the chart, we went by Bigelow, which is your WikiTree ID is Bigelow.
Yeah.
So
that's my maiden name. That's my family name. That's okay.
That's your family. Yeah, your family. So in the chart, this shows how all of the guest stars are related to each other.
Holy cow!
So if you look at the final column, or another way, I put the handle, the list down below here. So it's also the final row. So that might be easier to look at it this way. There we go. So here you are. So for Melly Alexander, you're her 10th cousin. Leanne Kruger, 10th cousin once removed. Randy Seaver, 9th cousin once removed. It looks like your closest connection is Randy Seaver at 9th cousin once removed. Your closest cousin among them all. Now, what's interesting is we had 3 in a row, Jill Ball, Melanie McComb, and Jarrett Ross, who are not cousins to anyone.
Oh.
Because their family trees are just so different from the other one, which is an interesting fact. But anyways, you're cousins to everyone but those 3. And the one interesting, Lisa Louise Cook is your furthest cousin. You have to go really far.
No, Judy. Judy's the furthest.
Oh, wait a sec, Judy. Oh, over there. Yes.
Yeah.
Iman. Thank you, Celia. See, I need another person here to verify all that. So 23rd cousins, 2 times removed.
That's fascinating.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
You're also my 9th cousin once removed, and my 9th cousin not removed.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Through the Jackson line and my Jackson line and your Jackson line and something else I can't remember.
Oh.
This would be an excellent time to show her, Greg, the WD, how the degree things work.
How the degree thing. Okay, so, well, let me, if I open up my own profile, then I can see how close I am. No, actually, what I want to open Angie's profile.
These profiles are amazing. Oh, look at that fan tree you've got.
Yeah, I'm gonna
sneak preview. Don't worry.
Sneak preview.
Oh, okay.
There we are. There's Angie's profile. Now, I actually have the WikiTree browser extension installed, and with that installed, it automatically tells me that I'm 21 degrees from you. So there's 21 steps between me and you, Angie. But we are also 23rd cousins, twice removed, just like Judy. And we connect back at my 24th great-grandmother and your 22nd great-grandmother, Isabella Angoulême de Lusignan.
I'm sure that's 100% true.
100% true. But if I click on more, you see we share a whole pile of ancestors because at some point your ancestry goes through France, and my mother's side is French Canadian, and so if there's one French Canadian, there's a bazillion.
I know about the Plantagenet family line.
Okay.
Sort of.
Sort of. Yeah. There we go.
I found it on Family Tree or on Family Search a long time ago, and I looked at it with quite a skeptical eye. But then started looking at some of the stuff as I was going, and I'm like, oh, this could be true.
Yeah. Wild, eh? Oh, yeah. Now, I haven't actually gone back and verified each of the links, but that's a good idea. I'd love to do that sometime. So I'm logged in as myself, but I've loaded your profile, so you could do the opposite. You could, whatever profile you've loaded. If I go to connection to me, it's going to show me that 21 degrees. So there it is, 21 degrees. Wow. You're 21 degrees from me. And then it shows you all the different steps it goes through. And when it changes color you see how the first few rows are green, and then it switches to yellow?
Yeah, what's that?
So that means it's changed from a biological connection, mother, father, mother, mother, father, father, sister, to a marriage. There's a marriage there. So from Sybil to her husband. So so
John would not be my genetic tree, but my family married into that tree.
That's right, yeah. So the interesting thing is that our connection only goes through one marriage, whereas a lot of times you'll see connections like this where they'll be green, yellow, and it goes through 3 or 4 different marriages. Like Celia was talking about, when you go sideways and you can get, through multiple marriages. But so
scroll down and show the other views.
Yeah, the view that I like for so this is the default view. I guess it's because it's more compact, right? And it goes from 1 to 1. But I prefer the generational path view because then you can actually see.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I like that.
Going straight up or down is direct ancestry, right? So mother, mother, father, mother, so those are your direct ancestors. So that would be your first great, second, third, fourth great grandfather, then his sister's husband. So there's the marriage right there. Mm-hmm. Then his grandfather's brother. So that's actually still that's still a biological one, right? Yeah. And then the rest are all daughters and sons. And so I'm a direct descendant of Josiah Rising there. So
very, very interesting.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
I find those very, very interesting.
I like if you do the table. No, in the table down in the corner above the image. No, up a little. Sorry.
Okay.
right on the same line as
Thought down just a tad, and it's on the far right of my screen.
Oh, there it is. Table. Okay.
That view.
I don't think I've ever clicked the table button.
Oh, it's pretty cool.
What am I going to see?
I think you're going to like it.
Oh,
So
look at that.
Wow.
Lime Creek, and it's colored lime.
So each of the, I don't know how it works for colorblind, but each of the clusters of colors are 50-year sequence, 50-year sections.
Oh.
So you can watch it go back and forth. And then down at the
under the birth dates, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, because there's the green and the yellow, the same green.
Yeah, so you can exactly. You can see the same family stuff. And then down at the very bottom of this chart, it tells you what the relationship is.
Oh, that is so very cool.
Greg Clark is Angie Bing.
That's a really long sentence.
My great-grandfather's sister's husband, second cousin, 8 times removed.
That sounds like something you would do at a big family party. Oh, yes, we're related because my...
Yeah, exactly.
Or I heard that story through my sister's uncle's cousin's brother's.
That's right. There you go.
That's great.
Very cool. Well, thank you for showing me the table, Celia. I did not. I've never done that before.
Yeah, we keep adding new things to the WB, so everything will be surprising for someone.
Yes, that is very cool.
It's all surprising to me right now.
So Eric's saying we should look at the connection through a common ancestor.
Okay, so
go to that 7th one, which was Sybil, right?
Mm-hmm. So under here, you can change. But the default is to find the shortest connection. So that found 21 degrees for us. But if I go through a common ancestor and click find connection, then that's going to give me this really, and you see how it's all one color. So that means this is all blood relation.
So now we're 50 degrees, but we're literally connected biologically that way.
Biologically.
Wow.
And now do the table. Ooh. We'll get to
I was going to say, there's the generational. So you see how it just goes straight down and then straight up again.
I just want to see how long that sentence ends up being on the.
Oh, okay. Well, the table should be easier because it should just be however many.
Oh, I guess, 23rd. Yeah, you're right. It's disappointing.
That's amazing, though.
Mm-hmm. Now, being that distant, the chance of actually sharing any DNA that we could measure is probably small.
Just a tad.
Look at how many different colors there have to be to get it.
The interesting thing in my family background, going through my mother's father's line, is that we skip multiple generations, and so that my mother was born when my grandfather was I think he was 60, which is the same age as I am right now.
Oh, me too.
And I'm of having an infant at 60. No.
No, I have 2 grandkids at 60. I mean, that I look after at 60. And I get to send them home at the end of the school day.
So his dad was also in his 40s, 40, maybe 43, 40, right around that age when he was born. So there was a generation skipped in that time frame. And then there was at least 2 generations skipped before my mother was born. And then I came along. And so there's, for other family lines, they don't have that many years as a norm between when a generation was born. So it puts us closer. We had a story when my youngest son was in elementary school. A teacher sent him home in trouble because he thought he was not telling the truth. That his great grandfather could have been in the Civil War, and he said, "Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Look at this." And my grandfather had written an autobiography as showing the dates of births and things, and so the teacher was kind enough to apologize in front of the class. It was a good man. And so, but it was really fascinating because he said, I've never met a family that's that close to the Civil War before.
Yeah.
Ours is.
That's wild. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that sentence.
See, that's weird because it should be just a matter of
Wow.
Yeah, it should be that your 23rd cousins, whatever. But
So note to someone should make a note that this is an interest quirk that should be investigated.
only we had a developer here.
Only we had a developer here. Well, if we had a developer who had a memory, maybe someone in the chat will remember, of course. Okay, so anyways, that's that. There we go. That's one thing we were going to show you.
Well, it's pretty fascinating. That's
It
fun.
is. It's very, very
Be
cool.
more.
So, well, the other, let's see, how we've deviated. Okay, so
we're totally off the map at this.
We're totally off the map now. How about I show you some images, some pictures? So we talked about, I talked about at the beginning that we focused on the CC7, like during the challenge itself. So at the beginning of the week, you had 111 connections to you. So going as far out as possible, 7 different directions. You had 111, and so this is a chart. It's actually another app that I had made, and every dot on it represents a person, and the color code you can see depends on the degree. And those at degree 1, actually, I broke those colors down by parent, sibling, spouse, and children. And then all the dark gray ones are direct ancestors. So you can see initially all we had for you before the contest, before the challenge began, were a bunch of direct ancestors, and then at the very outer rim, at the 6th and 7th degree, there was some siblings of those outer ancestors where those profiles probably pre-existed, I'm guessing.
Yeah, there were probably connections to the tree at that point.
Yeah. So at the end of your week, you went from 111 connections to, come on, let's go to the next.
I desperately want to put a pen in those and play spirograph.
I know. Look at this, 930.
Gosh, look at that. Holy cow.
Look at that. So there you go.
And all the grays are still the direct lineage.
The grays are still the direct ancestors, and there are some more, right? That got added, Cecilia?
I think so. I think we're about, well, we could look at her page.
Yes, that's right.
See the connection.
Yeah, we did. I'm pretty sure we added some direct ancestors, but you can see that we filled out lots.
We did. I forgot about that because we fixed a wrong family line.
Ooh.
Right at the very end. The Wilkin, Marianne Wilkin, was not the right ancestor.
Ooh.
It was a Mary Yeomans.
That makes sense to me. I'd never heard Wilkin as a family name. Yeomans I had heard.
Okay.
I don't know if I know any reason why I'd heard it, but
Okay. So here's your fan chart.
oh, look at that. That's beautiful.
And can you see that okay?
This is a Greg app.
Yeah, this is one of my apps. And yeah, so here we are this is 6 generations. So you had 5 generations you've got is totally solid. You have all of those ancestors there. And then at the 6th generation, we're starting to miss a few. But if we go, the max for this one for now, anyways, it goes up to 10. And you can see at the 10, we just have some specific direct lines that go out. The Phoebe Wing line.
Yeah, very
goes
famous line.
The Moffat line goes all the way out to 10 generations.
Oh, I'm dying to look at that one because I really hadn't done a lot of exploration past about the 3rd generation. So that's cool. I'm really looking forward to that one.
Stanton and the Conklin line both look like they go out to 10 generations. Just a couple ancestors missing at that 10th generation. As does, it looks like, most of the Gilbert line.
Nice.
And then over here in the yellow, that would be your maternal father's side, mother's. Elijah Spear and Betsy Noble.
Yeah, that's another famous line.
Those lines go out to 10 generations.
that was that a lot of those fought in the American Revolution, and some of them split over into Canada as loyalists. So that'll be fascinating to see. But there's some pretty strong Americana names in all of that. Yeah.
Oh, good. The other one that goes out to 9 generations is I'm guessing this is your Swedish lines. Well, at this end point, it's Elsa Larsdotter and John's Gamalilson.
Say that name.
Gamalilson, maybe.
We need our Swedish genealogist. She was visiting earlier in the week when we did the check-in.
Oh, yes.
She said she had found 200 of my Swedish ancestors, but she hadn't had a chance to put them all on the tree yet.
200?
200. She said, if I remember right, she said she was able to source them. And I'm like, what?
Wow.
So I'm excited. I'll have to look up and see how many she actually, was able to get on there before today.
But if we go to the score sheet,
okay,
people contributed just in general.
Okay, score sheet. Let's see. Let me get to there we go. Score sheet is right there. Thanks for keeping me on track. We're trying to.
Well, this also there's some. So we had 26 people helping out, and we created 348 profiles, and we found about another 500.
Wow.
I think that's right. My math
is
okay.
So total points. So the 348 is the profiles that were correct.
Yep, that's
created.
how they were created. And then the
total is 878. So you're right. I see. So 530 more.
Yeah. So that's where we linked into existing parts of the tree. And because of that, when you look at up a little bit, the distances tab here.
Yeah. There we go.
That shows, and this one was dramatic. Sometimes there's it'll be like, oh, I got
one or two, right?
Yeah, and this one is just to be clearly into a lot of things where it goes from dark green to light green. That means we connected a common ancestor.
Oh.
That's cool.
So that person went from being a relative, just a regular connection, to a blood relative, or theoretically blood relative. And so you can see some of them there we go. Some of these actually went way up
8. Up 28. Look at this.
Yeah, well, that one's because she went from a fairly close connection to being an actual blood relative.
Wow.
And in there, if you look in there, she also dropped. It dropped down to a very small one and then exploded up again. So this one was terribly dramatic looking.
Wow.
That one is a 32 difference in connections.
32? Did I miss?
Yeah. Meaning that they made 32 connections?
No, it's that so like my connection number to you is 19, but if we go through it, if you scroll down and look at me, for example, on here, the number will be like 48, I think. Oh no, it just says 20.
Makes you go,
Interesting. Well, for some people, it will say,
so
20,
here
you can see
by 5.
Yeah, so there's like 23, and then there's somebody who's a common ancestor's 44, because a lot of times the common ancestor links are much farther back than connection links are. So the numbers can get really, really dramatic in this.
Wow, this is the only one that has no change.
Sorry, Liz.
Yeah, no change. Oh, so does that mean that there's no connection? No, there is a connection. It's 22.
There's just no change in the
connection, but almost like the majority of people did have some type of change. So that's wild.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes really the connection is as close as it's going to get. But this one was very dramatic, and I was very impressed with it. And
Yeah.
if you look on the, when we're done scrolling,
Yep.
up at the top, the profiles button, that shows you who added the various profiles. So you can see, and actually here you can see, as someone pointed out, a lot of other people added profiles, but they weren't registered. So you can see the, if it doesn't say yes, they don't show up on the score sheet.
Mr. Cole here, or Ms. Cole, whatever, added a profile,
Yes.
but wasn't officially a participant.
But
And
so
that Cole's done a lot, yeah.
Wow.
you can see exactly who helped out and added what.
Okay,
profile.
Celia is responsible for Spear 2349.
Yeah.
The spear spelled the way you would regularly think of it, and then there was SPORRE below it. That's also pronounced spear, from what I understand. And
Really?
it's just a name spelling difference, but they should be somehow familial related.
Interesting.
So the display of this person here is a little bit different because Greg has the reading mode. No, sorry, you have this. I always forget. You have the side columns for your people displayed. I have them above.
I prefer that as
There's
opposed
still
to having them
columns
underneath.
Mine are in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know Betsy Spear? Betsy Spear was her maiden name. She delivered George Custer when she was the midwife for his mother.
Really?
I did not know that. Yes.
Wow.
True
That
story.
is a cool fact.
Yeah, I'll have to go add it in there if it's not already.
Yes.
It's not.
That is a very interesting fact.
Oh no, I've got two.
She attended George Custer's mother.
And didn't drop them, right?
No, well, maybe she did. Maybe that's
why. I won't say. All right, let's do interesting finds.
Okay.
I just told
Oh,
You did just find one.
should have gotten
That's number 8
that.
on the list. Yeah.
I'll add that to that.
That's right. Yeah. So the other thing in terms of the visuals, I
sorry.
did want to just show you one of the things that we have is so all of those profiles that were created. We have a feature called a site called WikiTree Plus, which is basically a giant database, which is also connected to a mapping engine. So we can do really custom searches for people that are on WikiTree. And one of them was to find all of the profiles that were created during the challenge week. And here is where they all end up on the world map.
Holy cow.
So it's
little-
spread all over. So
There's
now,
profiles in, is that Africa?
okay, so that one, that is basically the center of the world. And if you have an unknown location, if you don't fill in a birth or death location, then
It'll set you there.
that's your default.
Okay.
Just like this one, this little, this red one here is, I don't know why they call that the middle of Canada, because it's not really. But that's where Canada by itself, without any other modifiers, ends up. And this blue one right here, which is in the middle, if you just put Quebec and nothing else, that's where the Quebec dot will end up. So
it's not
some
perfect.
of those
It's
ones,
really interesting.
yeah. I don't know now. The Yemen one, is that actually Yemen? Do you know offhand?
I'll go look.
Okay.
I'll report back.
But the rest of them are pretty. You can pretty much. There was a lot of Nordic work done. Yeah. There was a chunk in the UK, a whole boatload in the States, and I think some of it spilled into Ontario, but I'm not sure. That may just be the cluster in the Northeast. I don't recall offhand, but
I love maybe Adam and Eve.
Adam and Eve, yeah, that's right.
I believe it.
So I did actually do a zoom in on the Europe map.
Oh,
so there's sort of two main clusters in Sweden. The very south of Sweden, and then closer to just outside of Stockholm, it looks like. And then North America, yeah, I don't know if that's actually in Ontario or not. There might be a little bit here in Ontario.
There's definitely, remember that split of the families in the American Revolution and the Loyalists.
The Loyalists would have come to Southern Ontario, right?
There's a homestead. There's a Bigelow homestead up there. And it's interesting because on both sides of my family line, there were splits that some went as Loyalists in my maternal and some went as Loyalists in my paternal. And then a lot of them came back into the States within a generation or so. Yeah.
Neat. So I've generated these maps, but there's also, I also generated, and you can see the screen here, all of these images we will have emailed, we'll email them all to you so you have access to all of them. But each of your, basically your four grandparent lines, Bigelow, Moffat, Nelson, Holmgren. Okay, Holmgren. I have the sort of the world map. So if we look at Holmgren here, there's the world map of people who are 7 degrees away from your Holmgren grandparents.
Wow.
And then zooming in. So it sort of follows the same pattern as, you know, the whole challenge, which sort of makes sense. But the Holmgren, of course, there's even more in the Sweden area, and not quite as many. Oh, and then I zoomed right in on Sweden just because.
Well, it's a bucket list place for me to go.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
I've had a cousin who's gone over, but I haven't.
Yeah. So there's lots of maps and lots of things you can explore there. But yes, let's get to the interesting finds.
So the update on the profile in Yemen is, unfortunately, sometimes if things aren't, if they don't have a standardized location, the WikiTree map thing uses some sort of underlying logic, and it is actually logic. We just don't know what it is. Assign it to a location. So I think there's like some, I think the location coding will just be like, oh, those letters belong to, so it's somebody who was born in Indiana.
Oh.
And it decided that was the right place.
It's pulling like a city code or a country code or something.
Yeah, some underlying thing.
Okay.
My absolute favorite was the one time that it was somebody who was born in Lower Canada, because it was that time period.
Yes.
The dot for it was in Puerto Rico.
Yes. Very, very low Canada.
About as low Canada as you can get.
That's right. I mean,
that's funny.
If we could visit, you know, somewhere warm like that without a pet, you know, that would be great.
Puerto Rico is worth visiting. Been there. Love it.
So so I have made basically Monopoly cards for each of your interesting finds.
That's cool. Okay.
So you can see how you are connected to each of them. So this first interesting find, we go up to John Nelson, his brother James, and then down through Catherine, and then Catherine's husband Catherine's brother John, and then her son is Orvis. And Orvis is interesting because let me find the right.
I don't know the name Nodler, so it must be because it's a further connection out.
Okay, so Nodler, Orvis Kirkwood Nodler was a private in the 165th Infantry Brigade and 42nd Infantry Division serving in the Great War in France. He died on the 18th of October in 1918 at age 23 in Wandré-Saint-Georges in the Département Ardennes in the Champagne-Ardenne in France, and was buried at the Meuse-Argonne American Cemetery and Memorial. It's there as well.
Oh, that'd be interesting to go visit if we ever get over there.
Yeah. And here is his profile. So we've added some stickers to indicate his service and that he was killed in action. And an Appalachian. There we go. And this was the list of military deaths for Americans in World War I. That's
nice.
Famous from there. So that's one interesting find.
Very cool.
Okay. just going to drag this over.
So he would be so John Nelson is my great grandfather. So he'd be uncle, and then down. Oh wait.
Yeah, so that would be
great uncle.
Yeah, great uncle.
And it's
his
wife's
brother's kid.
Okay.
Wife's brother's kid, yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's right.
Not a biological connection, but a very
right. Now those two would be first cousins here, so you could just say your great grandfather's first cousin's wife's brother's kid, or your great grandfather's
nephew,
first cousin's
nephew-in-law.
Nephew.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
There we go. We can simplify this. Okay. Next Monopoly card belongs to George Hodge.
I know that name.
You know that name? Okay.
I do.
Well, Hartshorn. That was the name that was on the profile you did, Celia, right?
One of many. She married into that line.
Yeah. So Mary Charity is actually, remember I told you about Betsy? That's right. Her daughter, Mary Charity. And I have, her father was, of course, was a preacher, circuit riding preacher. So Betsy Spears' husband, right? And then they passed down this family Bible to Mary Charity, who passed it to my grandfather, who passed it to my mother, who passed it to me. And it is from, it's got a New York 1864 copyright. But then, so that's that lineage. And then you go over, so Mary Charity's sister Lydia and the Hodges family, my grandparents got cards and letters from them. And so that's why I know that name. And then she kept newspaper clippings. My grandmother kept newspaper clippings because they were so proud of the Hodges and of the governor. And he was a governor and a doctor and a lawyer and a preacher.
Wow.
And we have clippings of that. And so that's how I knew that.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
So we've pulled out him as
now tell me I was right and those clippings are right
because he was governor of Kansas. So he's a notable. Yeah.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes, and we have pictures of him in our family albums and things like that. Yeah. Yes.
There he is, 19th governor of Kansas. Apparently.
The picture I have is of him older.
Older than this?
Yeah. And I think he has a beard, if I remember right. I have to go back.
So now how old would he have been when he was governor? 1913. So he was born in 66. So that's 34 plus 47. He would have been 47. Does that look like a 47-year-old or?
Yeah, that does to me.
So that could have, I wonder if that was like the portrait that's hanging in the legislature.
See what it says.
Oh, that'd be fascinating to find out, wouldn't it?
Sometimes they say where they scroll down and see what the keep going.
Portrait by unknown, the world's work licensed under public common.
Oh well, sometimes those things will give you the exact.
It's not Jack and Jill on their hill, no.
Yeah.
I'll go look through our family album as I can and add some of these things I've mentioned. But yeah, and that's been on there for quite a while because it looks like it was added in 2015.
It was created in 2015. Yeah.
I'm
wondering if
it was.
I'm wondering if I'm related to whoever put it on there.
Well, you can, if you scroll down, you can see if anyone else there was.
Daniel James Thompson was the one who.
Don't know that name.
Edited.
But it's very cool.
Oh, is it? Am I reading this right, Celia?
Oh, yeah. I guess he must be a former.
A former, yeah.
Yeah.
Former WikiTree. And if he created this in 2015, and then if he passed away in 2016, that would explain why.
Why it doesn't have a manager. I might have to go pop it into mine so I can add all of the stuff for it.
You don't have to add. You don't have to adopt them to edit them.
Oh, okay.
And
See, I'm not a manager at all, but I've got the edit button
Yeah.
here, so I could hit edit.
and
Okay.
they like us to keep our what's the word I want?
Watch list?
Watch list. Thank you. To be nice and tidy. Oh, look, you can see the side thing has the biocheck. That's the WB thing. It shows you.
Oh, appears
if
to
it
have
needs to
sources.
be fixed.
Succession box 2 is a deprecated status. So that's
Yes.
So
one was
that's
changed.
very, so there's things that need to be checked, but basically we know he's real.
Oh yeah, it's got profiles, and then the succession box just needs to be. It's an old style, so
Needs to be updated.
it should be redone in a fancier, supported.
I have you worked. I'm not going to touch it right now.
The succession box is a little scary.
But
actually, if you click on, I love this. If you click, it won't work for that one because it doesn't work. But you can go up to templates, and you could do add any template and do succession box. I love this. So the first one's the one that works.
Oh, okay.
So click on that, and what
Select.
I love, then select. Yeah.
Woo.
It shows you all the places to fill in, and if you put in that stuff when it works, when you hit return, it makes a working sticker, and you don't end up with errors. And I love it because otherwise you have to remember what
all
goes
the
where and what all the
Very cool.
favorite toys there.
Yeah, that's great.
Also in the WBE.
Yeah.
And Fiord, I don't know how to say your last name.
Fiordalacy
asked me if I have Appalachian roots. I don't know of any.
You do.
Appalachian. Really? Well, you'll have to show me those.
So that's what people forget is that Pennsylvania and out near from most of the state, really, from like Scranton clear on over to Ohio, that's all Appalachian.
Oh, well, okay, I do.
There you go.
I didn't.
You got the civil or all the Revolutionary War ones.
Well, Orville, we just saw Orvis was Appalachian.
But
that was your.
But he's not
a biological tree.
That's right. That's it. Right.
He's in your 67, but not your tree. But yes, but the fact that you've got the Nelson, isn't it? Wasn't he in Revolutionary War in Pennsylvania?
Yep.
So there you go.
Well, I'll have to go find out more about that. I've only been to Pennsylvania just a tiny bit, and mostly it was to go to Harrisburg, to go to the state library and archives. So, okay,
it's my home state.
Nice. I'll learn a lot from you then.
So now we're going. The next notable is Charles Cross, born in 1873 in Michigan. Passed away in 1928 in Michigan, and he is your great-grandmother's sister's husband.
So brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law, yeah.
Great-grandmother's brother-in-law. Okay.
And
what did Charles do?
You know, he married two relatives of Angie's, so not only Ida, but also Jenny.
The brother-in-law twice over.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no, it's not even that. It's more complicated than that. Goodness.
Yeah, so the first one, the one that we saw on the card, was the direct connection because through your great-grand-aunt. But the other one was first cousin 3 times removed.
Oh, wow.
So that's kind of funny.
What makes him notable other than marrying into my family twice?
Well, let's look at his profile and see if we can find
these are just interesting finds. So.
Oh, that is fascinating, actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
I found one guy who married in my family. He married women who were like third cousins of each other, and I was like, did he know that? Did he know that? Yeah, that's right. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily, but you might.
No, third cousins could easily slip
exactly, by. But
they very might
each other. So
my grandpa married my grandma's cousin was his first wife, and when she passed away after 15 years of the Spanish flu, he married my grandma, and they were first cousins.
Wow. So maybe we'll take a quick detour to one of the other apps that we saw the fan chart. This is another one of the apps that I've done, which I call the super tree, because this is your family tree expanded out. And instead of like the fan chart where you just see the direct pedigree, like the parents and this one at each level shows all the direct ancestors plus their siblings.
Wow.
And then depending on how far down, WikiTree has expanded. So up here, for instance, John Andrew Nelson married Mary Charity Hartshorn. And there's Lydia. We just saw Lydia and William Hodges. But it'll also go down and show their children and the children's children. And no, that's as far as it'll go. So we didn't go in, but it'll go down three generations as well. So it's kind of nice. You can't see all of your CC7 with this, but you can see a good chunk of it that way.
A lot more. Wow.
And you can print it out.
The ones that have the halos around them. Sorry, Celia, I was talking over you.
You can print it out and use it to like wallpaper your dining room.
Yes, you could.
I know I have family watching. You know I would do that too.
Yeah. Well, if you have a nice long hallway, this would be
well, that would be even better.
That's a great idea.
You know, you have a foyer. Yeah. Yeah. Just put your coat there by the Nelsons.
Oh, that's a great way to remember when you come over. Okay, you guys are by the Nelsons. You guys are by the Gilberts. That's all your stuff.
Yeah, there we go.
We're so sensible.
Yeah, that's right. The ones that have halos around them are ones that appear more than once in your tree. So Rose Peterson and Bertrand Nelson appear at least twice in your tree. So I suspect that. So in this case, this is a direct connection to Rose Peterson. Through the Nils daughter person connection, but you must also, well, there's the Nelsons. We talked about the Nelsons already, right? So there we go.
That's my grandpa.
There's your grandpa. So
and Rose is his first wife.
Okay, so we should be able to find him.
And then you'll find Mabel.
The colors are the same, right?
There he is, right there.
Yeah. And then if you found Mabel's birth certificate, her name was actually spelled Mabel when she was born, and she changed it to Maybelle when she was older.
So this one you can add or subtract as many generations to make it as complicated or not as you want, and you can even add in-laws if it works.
It gets a little slow and creaky when you're adding a lot.
Yeah, when you're adding in-laws at this level, yeah. So.
Oh my goodness! Look at how huge that tree is.
It is. Well, because I've done the maximum that I programmed it is for 7 generations, so you can, and
so yeah, all these people would be within your CC7, I think, because they're
these one would everyone here will be in your CC7, but there will be
others as
the
well.
laterals like marriages, like
Gotcha.
When you get past 3 marriages, I don't think it'll show up on here. But
and this is, and you told me there was what 948.
931 where I think were added during your during the challenge.
The week challenge. Wow.
But your actual connections, you have 956.
Oh wow. Look at that.
You're almost at 1,000. You get a sticker.
We tried, but we just didn't quite make it.
Well, it's a busy time of year.
Yes. Well, if 200, you have 200 Swedish relatives coming, then we'll get that soon.
We'll make that. Yeah, that's what she said.
There we go. So anyway, so that's another one of the apps. And to get to those apps, because we didn't actually explain how we got to those apps, did we?
Yeah. How do you get there?
So when you're on your profile now, because I am visiting your profile, and I'm logged in as myself. And you're a living person, I cannot edit your profile directly unless you add me to your trusted list. And I could give you a whole pile of reasons why you could trust me, but I'm, that's a different question. But when you're on your profile, or if you're on any other profile that's open, there'll be a second tab that says Tree Apps. And when you click on that, it'll automatically open up. And by default, it chooses one of the apps. Because the last one that I used was the fan chart, Usually when I demonstrate this, that's the one that opens up first. But
Fascinating.
but there's a whole list
Do the
of
drop down.
apps to explore.
How fun. I hope a bunch of my students are watching because I think this would be really fun for them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And just to clarify, this whole thing is free to everybody to use, right?
Yep.
That is correct. Yeah.
It's a little bit complicated to learn, but it's
Mhm.
got so many benefits to it that I could see I could see myself playing in here way too much.
Oh, yes.
We're all very nice, and we get a lot of new people come. If new people come onto the Discord, people will show them everything.
Yeah.
Any
that's
questions?
Yeah, the Discord is an excellent place. Look, we have a WikiTree server, and there's multiple channels on there where you can get help for specific areas of research. But there's a tech chat and there's a general chat where people are very, very helpful.
There's a question in the chat right now. I can't sign into the chat because it would take me out of this.
Right.
Is there an age limit for kids on WikiTree?
13.
Okay,
Yes.
good. And somebody asks, what is Slippy?
What is Slippy? So one of the apps is called the Slippy Tree. So I will show you that one. That's kind of a neat one. So it starts out with just, so there you are. Because you're a living person, it just says private with your last name. But we can go back in time. So there is your parents. Now, what we can do is we can click on your father, and then we can load his ancestors.
And it slips to
they
the
just
side.
sort of slip together.
Oh, that's so cool.
And if we went to his mother, we could then load her family, which would load her. It should be her brother got added.
That's her husband. Ralph is her husband.
Oh, Ralph is her
her
husband.
brother's at the bottom in blue.
Oh, there's
yeah.
Oh,
Kenneth.
and then the sister's right up there.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember meeting Kenneth.
Oh, yeah.
I remember meeting him when I was a little girl.
Okay.
And I remember meeting his wife.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember meeting Eula. Looks
Mm-hmm.
like I couldn't have. She died way too soon.
Yes. Yes.
And
But
then,
you can, yeah. So there's lots of different things you can load. You basically can just add or remove different branches, so you can sort of explore. You can explore all at once, or you could just zoom in on one little particular branch of the thing, and it's really cleverly done.
it slips in and out, so that's why it's called
It slips in and out. Yeah, you can
And
just slip.
So cool.
all of these different apps were built by people who use the tree.
Mhm.
So they're basically, all of them are, somebody was like, you know, it would be awesome if I could look at it this way.
That's
And
right.
they either built it themselves or they said it out loud in public, and somebody else was like, you're right, that would be awesome.
Yeah. I've never heard it described that way before, Stephen. Stephen is in the chat. But that is a perfect explanation. I love it.
I think we should change the name.
The squid tree. I love it. That's great.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, what other fun things did you find?
Okay. So, yes, let's go back. Are we supposed to stop at 9? Celia?
Don't
I think
stop.
we can go later. Yeah, we've done later before.
Oh, have we? Okay. Because
Yeah, because we've done a lot of teaching on WikiTree, but I've only learned 2 or 3 new things. So, so I don't mind, but
you don't mind? Okay. Well,
could we do more?
I can go a little bit later. Hardin Bigelow is the next one, who is your great uncle, looks like. Direct paternal. So my first question is, do you have you done a Y DNA test for your Bigelow line?
I have not. My
I mean, you can't, obviously, for the
sad,
Y DNA.
right. Sad story. I got DNA tests for Christmas for 2014, and my dad passed away in September, and I wasn't able to give him one, and so I was brokenhearted. I do have some brothers that I can ask, and I think that would be helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. So Hardin is a notable. He was first elected mayor of Sacramento. Ooh. His obituary was wild in that it claimed he fought in the Black Hawk Wars. Could not substantiate that. Traveled around the South and Central America, maybe. Narrowly escaped with his life in 2 steamboat explosions. Sure.
No, that's possible. That is possible.
Yeah.
They blew up a lot.
And if you're doing that much traveling, you're going to run
Yeah,
into
yes. Yeah, the odds are, right? This
Boats
guy
blew
was
up
pretty
a lot.
awesome.
Any history.
Yeah. This guy was pretty awesome without the exaggerations, however. He did catch gold fever, get elected mayor, build levees around Sacramento to prevent flooding with his own money,
Wow.
convinced the city council to build back with iron and cement after the shops were destroyed by fire, and took part in quelling the squatter riots in 1850, which led to his death when he was shot 4 times and then contracted cholera.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Okay, so let's have a look-see at his.
Holy cow. I had heard about him, but I didn't know all that. That's all new info to me.
That is, and apparently he was also instrumental in bringing the railroad from Sacramento to the mines and for using his own funds to build the levees. Yeah.
It sounds like I need to write another novel.
It sounds like he would be great fodder for a novel. Indeed. Look at that.
Wow.
First mayor of not just a mayor, the first mayor of Sacramento.
Holy cow.
Wow.
That is fascinating. Had no idea.
Wow.
I do think I remember hearing he was a mayor of something, but nobody ever really talked about, you know.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's pretty far back, but still. Like
that's really, really cool.
That is, yeah.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Can you scroll up on this one? I want to see something.
Scroll up.
Yeah, look at the. Keep going. The
what?
Looks like my brother. I have a brother named John. He looks like my brother John.
Can you scroll up further?
Oh, sorry. I
No, I want to go. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show, because this one has a profile manager. See the little green box right next to her name? That I didn't find that out for a really long time. That tells you if they're related to the person who created, or whose profile it is. So if you click on that, it'll tell you.
Arden and Lucy are 11th cousins, 3 times removed.
Oh, that's really cool. Thank you, Lucy, for putting it up there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I do believe he was in 2 steamboat explosions because they blew up a lot.
I think particularly out west, steamboats exploded even more.
A lot.
They did, eh? Okay.
Yeah, they did. All you have to do is read a little bit of history. You'll be like, whoa.
Look at them funny.
Look at them funny. Yeah, that's great.
Don't know if I want to read one.
Well, that's very cool. Well, that's good.
That's really cool.
Okay. Next up, we have Ann Yeomans.
Oh, this is my interesting find.
Okay. Well, you take it away then, Celia.
I know the yeoman name, but I don't know anything about Ann Yeomans.
So this is the sister of your ancestor.
Right.
Okay.
And she can you go back and let me see the.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, sorry. I wanted you said sister, so I thought you wanted to see the card.
Oh, so this was two things were really cool. She was listed as a preacher in the census.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't do any research or anything on that, but the English censuses are usually pretty good. So
wow.
And she was born less than 11 months from her brother.
Okay, so that's the one I think you might have mentioned on Discord, and I was like, how? Poor woman.
I was like, this could not possibly, like a lot of times the dates are a little wrong, or like the year's wrong. I went through and looked, and it was absolutely correct. Like maybe it's supposed to be 1816 and 1817. Nope, she was born on the 1st of January.
Yeah.
And her brother was born October 17th, same year.
Goodness. Wow.
Yep.
Let's just say it's a little close for comfort.
Yeah.
A little close for comfort.
I mean, basically the timing is mom came home from the baptism and was like, well, thank God I'm not pregnant anymore. And
surprise.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
But so I didn't do any research into the ministry thing, but
I want to now.
Yeah. You have to leave some stuff for you to do.
That's right. That's right. Then we have Charles Muller Stolbrand, who is Maria Sophia Karlsdottir's husband. So this we're getting into the Swedish line now.
Okay.
1, 2, third great grandfather's sister's daughter's husband.
Got it. And,
Okay.
and what makes him special?
What makes him special is that he was a notable. He was a sergeant in the Swedish artillery who emigrated to Chicago and major of artillery and chief of artillery of the 15th Corps during the Atlanta campaign. Became a brigadier general in the Union Army near the end of the Civil War and a politician in South Carolina after the war.
Wow. Evidently, we have a lot of preachers and politicians, along with doctors, lawyers, and writers.
You've got lots of nice photos in many of these profiles.
Yeah.
That is very cool.
I would agree. That's really fun to see what the person looked like if you can.
Yeah.
Skanesverk. Yes, that's where a lot of, I knew that area and found one of the churches there that you could on Google Maps actually look at the headstones and get into some of the names on the headstones.
In Skåne?
Yeah.
Neat. Looks like he came from a large family. Scrolling. 21.
Bet they were farmers.
Okay. So some of these are half siblings.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So that's another feature of the extension is that you can, when you hover over someone's name, if they're half siblings, it'll show.
And you can see on the side the color, the lines at the end.
Yeah.
A dark blue line and a blue and an orange. That shows you what parent it is. If you scroll up a little, one of the parents has a blue.
Oh.
Up to look at the
top part of the.
Yeah. Sorry. So you can see that Adolf is dark blue and Christina is orange. So you can see those are all half siblings through dad.
I never looked on that side of the bar. That's hilarious.
It's absolutely fascinating because throughout the generations, there are just tons and tons and tons of half siblings.
And there's a double bar, so there's the full siblings.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Just wow.
This is why everybody loves it when we talk about the extensions, because everybody uses them slightly differently.
Yes.
That's so very cool. Thank you.
Okay, and I think the last notable, I think we're down to the last, notable from number find, is not so much a notable as an notable fact. Your connection to Bjorn from ABBA.
Oh, I love that. What's my connection?
Your connection is you are, how many degrees is this? Oh, your connection went a lot smaller. So you were, it was something like, where is it here?
Oh, it goes.
You went from 32 degrees down to 16 degrees.
Oh my goodness.
Away
That's funny.
from Bor. And here's how you're related. Bjorn's second great grandfathers, sister's sons, brother-in-law's grandmother's brother is your third great grandfather.
That's hysterical.
So
for all my Nelson family watching, look at that. We're connected to ABBA.
So that's pretty cool.
Well, I know we have a record or two in our house.
You might have a record or two in your. There we go.
That's spectacular.
Yeah. So there we go. One of the things that we like to show off is the different locations we visited while adding all these new profiles and expanding your family. So you visited only 3 provinces of Canada. I'm Canadian. I live in Ontario myself.
Okay.
But you did make it to Ontario, so that's where I am.
There we go. Ding, ding, ding. I'm in there.
I
was just there in June.
Good. There were, of course, connections in England and Ireland, a couple places in Norway.
Yeah, I'd love to explore that more when I come to
Scotland. 5 different, what would you call, are they states in Sweden? Are they counties? What are they? Regions?
I think counties, but I don't know off the top of my head. I'm surprised Scotland doesn't have a whole gob underneath it because
I mean,
we might not have done much research there.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know we've got Ayrshire and Carstairs Parish that in Kirkcudbrightshire, and I know that it goes up into Paisley and up into the Highlands a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's a lot in Scotland.
Right. So often if we have lots of research in, well, England, Scotland, or Ireland, it will break down the counties, but didn't do that here. Lots in the States.
I forgot to update England. That's my fault.
Oh, is that usually you?
This may also be because Ozzy was feeling sick. Often she will do a quick check in WikiTree Plus and sort out all the regions.
That's true too.
And so this may just be the ones that were added during this thing and not ones which were in
already there.
Profiles in passing, and like me when I forget that
you're supposed to record those. But 21 of the 50 states were covered too, so that's
pretty spectacular.
Neat. And then we do like to mention the military profiles. And so if you can go through there. So we have let's see. So James Cargill was in the Revolutionary War.
Go ahead, say number 3.
What's that?
I said
say it out loud.
Martin Anderson Everstrom was in the Kunglige Skånska Cavalry Regiment.
Just have a coughing fit. It's okay.
Where's Kirsten when we need her?
Yes. At least one from the War of 1812. David Nelson there. 5.
We don't have the other. We have several actually in the Revolutionary War. That didn't go
the Civil War? Yeah.
No, Revolutionary War.
Then we just might not work on them.
Right.
Yeah. Like John Milligan and Thomas Nelson Jr., Thomas Nelson Sr., and then several brothers and uncles of the Nelson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, are these just the ones that were added after?
Probably, or that we noticed. It all depends on who is working on it, and
right. So we could have easily missed some.
Oh yeah.
Oh, good. I was right. Eric says counties in Sweden. Whew.
Counties. Oh,
I should know that.
Okay, counties in Sweden. Okay.
I should know.
But one was identified from the Spanish-American War, and it looks like one from each. Well, or Vis, I think it was, wasn't it?
I think so. I think it's Orvis.
Yeah, so it's a little typo there.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Kenneth.
There we go.
And then my dad. My dad. No, that's my uncle. My great uncle. My dad served in from 1953 to 1956, 57, somewhere in there. And 2 of my uncles served on my Nelson side, and I don't remember everybody on the other sides, but. My uncle Virgil Nelson and my uncle Dwight Nelson, one served in the Air Force, one served in the Navy. And then my uncle Paul Bigelow was in the Vietnam War, and he died there, and he's on the Vietnam Wall. Yeah. Wow. So that's just people I'm proud of for their service.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm wondering here. Let's see. Okay. There was lots of other things that we'd love to show you, but I am a little cognizant of the time. So in terms of the WikiTree browser extension, and like we've sort of shown you some little features of it as we were going through profiles, and there are help videos on the WikiTree YouTube channel, and we also talk about it often on the Saturday roundups. So if you're interested in watching those, they're on YouTube 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time every Saturday morning.
Do you want to show them how to find it?
What's that?
How to find the browser extension?
Yeah, okay. What I was going to do before that is I was going to go down. So I'm here on the profile of Charles John Muller-Stolbrand. Okay. And when I click on the categories link, it takes you down to here. So there's a bunch of categories that were added to his profile. So what we do is often on WikiTree, when we add a profile, we like to add categories if there's based on location. So we'll often put their where they were born or where they died. Those locations will tag. It's sort of like tagging, in a way. And then what that does is it groups all the profiles that have that common characteristic. So one of the things that he was tagged for was the cemetery, and there's a huge cemeteries project on WikiTree. And when you click on you click on this link, it'll take you to a page. Now, I'm saying this without having tested this before. And so where's the list? Where's the list of all the people? Oh, they're down below there.
Yeah.
There we go. So here's all the people who are buried in, who we have WikiTree profiles for, who have this cemetery tag.
Also buried there. Wow.
Okay.
There's a lot of tools that find where people are buried and reports and stuff like that. So a lot of times, if anybody has mentioned it in the bio or put a link to the Find a Grave, somebody will find that and add the category. It's kind of cool. I'll open up my thing and suddenly people will put them in cemetery categories.
And one of the really cool connections when you're at a category, whether it's a cemetery category or a location category or
occupation, anything.
Anything. There is a button now that's in the top right that says My Connections. So I'm going to click on that, and that's going to open up the list of people, WikiTree profiles that are in Arlington, and all the ones who are related to me, either direct ancestors or cousins, get shown first, and then all the ones who are related through marriage get shown below, connections.
Very cool.
And this is the first 200.
Just so the first 200. Now, what's cool is I'm going to put in your WikiTree ID.
Okay.
Which I believe is Bigelow 3376.
I think so.
When I click on Go, it's going to load it as if you were doing this, and you have a whole pile of cousins buried in Arlington Cemetery.
Holy cow!
Did you know that?
No, I didn't know I had anybody there. Wow.
And so if we just click on this little button here, the same one that Celia had mentioned before, with the profile manager and their connection, then that'll open up the link and we can see how you are related to Ellen. So Ellen and you are fifth cousins, 4 times removed.
Holy cow. And look at her. Did you notice the years that she was alive? 1834 to 1908, and she's buried in Arlington. Oh, she's got to have a story.
You know what? She's going to be related to me. That's the same line that my
Is it?
other line, the Tyler line.
Oh.
Okay.
It's Jackson and Tyler. My family all comes from, the stuff I've traced all comes from Massachusetts.
Her bio is very short, so we need to fill out that story.
You need to fill that out. What in the heck was she doing in that time frame? What did she do that got her buried in Arlington? Because
it said she's buried along with her husband. So I suppose it's possible her husband was military, and did they automatically bury spouses together?
I don't know.
Didn't know spouses could be married in Arlington.
I didn't know either. Oh.
Let's go see what he did. Maybe.
Okay.
Looks like Civil War time, maybe.
Chief surgeon at Fort Douglas.
Oh, maybe she was a nurse.
And died at that post, of diabetes.
Wow. Maybe she was a nurse then.
Maybe.
Because often surgeons.
Yeah.
So maybe she's there on her. We'll have to find out.
Yes. You've got homework.
The problem with WikiTree is anytime you're like, oh, I'm just going to go look at this, and you're like hip deep in rabbit hole the next thing you know.
Oh, I know.
That's
This is dangerous. This is dangerous, but it's wonderfully dangerous.
Wonderfully dangerous. Okay, so if we want to, I want to find the WikiTree browser. So if I go to Find Apps, and then there's the WikiTree browser extension, and the WikiTree Sourcer is another extension. I recommend highly both of those two extensions. The browser extension is the one that it modifies the way the WikiTree page looks and reorganizes things and adds extra features to it. And that's the one that we've been using for showing off a lot of its features tonight.
And I understand that doesn't work well with Safari.
This one does. You can use this one with Safari.
Okay. Can you use Sorcerer then with Safari? There was one of them I heard you couldn't use with Safari.
WikiTree B. There is the other one, the Sorcerer. Go to the Sorcerer here.
Maybe B doesn't work on.
Yeah, B is the one that doesn't work with Safari at all. The WikiTree Sorcerer, you have to download an app and you actually have to pay a one-time fee, just because there's a developer's fee to be on the Apple platform, so that the developer doesn't lose money by doing this. He just charges a token fee so that he covers.
And it is well worth it. It is
very fair.
Very well. This one, the Sorcerer, what this one does is if you're at other sites like Find My Past or Ancestry or My Heritage or
Trove or
Family Search, and you found sources, it will automatically copy the citation for that, and in many cases will actually create a narrative to go along with it, so you can edit it, or you can copy that directly and put it right into your profile. So it makes creating citations very, very easy.
It's also fantastic for searching because you can go from a profile on WikiTree.
Yes, you can go out.
And go out as well. And it works in between them. Like if you're on Ancestry and you want to see if a census is available on Family Search, you can literally tell it to go and find that exact source on Family Search.
Man,
they make there's a learning curve for working on WikiTree, and these things, like, it's amazing.
They help.
It goes away.
They help cut that in half.
Yeah.
Good job.
There we go. So I recommend strongly checking those out as well.
Thank you.
And I think we have given you lots to explore. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen at this point.
I did one thing. I was peeking. I know my grandfather's name is Burchard Rutherford, and I was like, where in the world did that name come from? And on my profile, there was a way to look at how you're connected to presidents, and I knew I was related somehow to several presidents, but the one president, I didn't even think about what his middle name was, but Rutherford B. Hayes is actually named Rutherford Burchard Hayes.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, now I know how he got named. And he was multiple kids, so he probably just ran out of names.
Is one of them named Lorenzo Dow? Because that's also the fallback.
But I just thought it was interesting that they flipped the first and the middle name for my grandpa.
Interesting.
Yeah. And that was the first time I'd ever actually looked at what Rutherford B. Hayes' name was. And, we're connected, but we're not a direct lineage. And so I the only thing I can think of is that, he was president during the lifetimes of my great grandparents. And so they must have liked him.
Right.
Depends on how many kids. They might have just been like, oh, hell, there's a name.
That's right. Yeah.
Could have done too.
That's right. Good. Well, thank you very much, Angie, for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed the little tour we gave you.
Thank you, and I was really so honored to be chosen or asked to do this. I really didn't know much about WikiTree. I think I'd seen you all around Roots Tech, and gone, waving across the hall because you can't leave your booths, right?
Right. Yes.
And so I never really learned a lot. So it was so much fun to join WikiTree. To be the featured guest and to be able to invite our students at the International Institute of Genealogical Studies and family and friends and cousins to come and see this. I hope they had fun too, but I sure did. Thank you.
Oh, good. Well, stay with WikiTree and hang out with us whenever you can, and join us on the Discord. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to reach out to any of us, to myself. If you have any questions, if my apps aren't working right for you, let me know. I'll help you out.
You can just tag them on Discord. Greg, this isn't working.
That's right. Lots of people do that. That's very helpful. Yes. And thank you, Celia, for joining me tonight and keeping me on track, more or less.
Alan says, did we break her brick walls?
So we selected some profiles that were didn't have parents. They weren't official brick walls. They were just sort of challenge brick walls, and I believe we definitely broke most of them.
Mhm.
What one? I'll
It's
have
the-
to go look
Yeah.
There's a list in on the space
On-
page.
on the space page. Okay, I'll
Yeah.
go look on the WikiTree challenge page. Is that what
Yep.
the space page is?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what I'm.
That's right.
Sorry,
I'll look.
it's a free space page, which happens to be showing the challenge stuff. So we sort of use them interchangeably.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll go take a peek, because the two brick walls I was looking for was the Thomas Nelson Jr. To connect for a birth date. Can't find anything. Can't find a grave, because I think he was washed away in the mass grave at Brandywine, maybe. And then the other one was the Cathcart line, trying to fill in the proofs there. And I don't know. I haven't seen that yet.
I'm
so
not
I'll take a look.
sure. So fingers
Nice.
crossed, it'll be exciting for you.
That's right.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you again, and have a great night. And for everyone else who's watching, thank you for watching, and join us in January when we will have yet one other WikiTree challenge. And
In the
we'll-
Source-a-thon and so many other things.
and there's a Connect-a-thon coming in January as well, and of course the Secret Santa challenge. is
Ooh,
the
it's
next one,
right.
which will start this weekend, this Saturday, and it's not too late to sign up to add a wish or to volunteer to be a Secret Santa elf and help fulfill those wishes to
That's so
fellow
much fun.
WikiTreeers.
The way you do these little gamification of genealogy, so much fun. Love it.
It
Yeah.
is, and the fact that they're all social and on Discord makes it just great. You run into a problem, you talk to somebody, you sort it out, they help you look.
It's wonderful.
Thanks so much, everybody.
See ya. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.